Hello, and welcome back to another guided video. For this project, you are a database specialist for the American River Cycling Club. We'll use the provided file to create a form with a button and a blank report with a title and grouping, then preview the results. Let's go ahead and begin by downloading the start file. Once again, once it's finished downloading, you want to go ahead and open up the location of the file. Right, select the file and right click on it, go to the properties. Oh, that's not the right one. It's this one, yes. Go to properties. You want to select unblock. That way, when you open it, you can enable the content. So that takes care of step 1, 2, and 3. Step 4 is asking us to create a form using the form button. First, we need to select the race results table. Then we can go to create, and then the form button, which is here. Right? So it should look similar to figure 4-150. Um, Mine is a little cut off, but if I drag that horizontal scroll bar, I can see it to the, yeah, see the right side of it. And then we just need to go ahead and, for part B, save the form as view race results. Right click on the tab, click save, and then just click at the front and type in view. For step 5, it's asking us to edit the form in layout view. So we need to open the property sheet. Right now, so to do that, um, I believe it's already in layout view. Yeah. So we just need to move on to step A and just open the property sheet, which is right here in the ribbon. And then we need to change the width of the race ID text box to be 1 inch. So make sure when you do this, you are editing the correct dimension. So you notice width, height, top, left, it's all right there. So let me go ahead and zoom in just to show you what I'm talking about. So just make sure when you enter 1, it's next to width. Okay, I'm going to type in 1 and then hit enter. And then you notice it added the quotes mark for us. And the quote represent inch. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. For part C, it wants us to add 2 rows. Um, Below the age group field, which is here. If you click on it, it says age group. So the way I did this is I actually went into, I'm sure there's a more simplified process when you stay in the layout view, but what I actually did is I went to design view because that allows me to see the rows that it's talking about. And also make sure when you're adding 2 rows, I'm going to zoom in here, that when you hover over the bottom of the form, you notice there's 2 groups of horizontal uh, lines, black lines with vertical lines. Make sure you don't drag the form footer line. So don't hover beneath the form footer because that expands the footer. You want to hover above the title form footer to expand the actual form. So here I'm just going to drag it down another inch. And you can tell you have drag about an inch. Let me drag another one. There we go. Because you see these vertical lines, they represent a 1-inch square grid. Okay. So I think I dragged a little too far. So I'm going to drag up a little bit more. So right now it's just eyeballing it, but SimNet actually wants us to be more exact. So let me zoom out. They want to have the height to be of the bottom row to be zero point 0.4 inch. So right now, this bottom row right here, I don't think it's zero point 0.4. So the way to do that is to go back to Form Design tab, go to the Property sheet, and then go to Details. And it's close to it. It's 3.4167. So let me go ahead and delete that and just, it will be zero point 0.4 right there. So it's 3.4. And now um, that takes care of part D. Um, for part E, it wants us to select a race ID label. So to select the race ID label and not the fields, it's just click on the label um, in your form window. So right now it's called label 0. So we don't need to worry about the title. But we do need to change the top property to 0.75. Push enter. And then the left property to be 1.25. So I'm just going to delete the 0, type in 1. Okay. So this moves the control layout down and to the right. So hopefully you guys notice that. For part F, it says add the date to the form. Choose the DD um, month, day, dash, or month, yeah. So day, month, year format. So if necessary, deselect the included time and include time checkbox so that only the date is added. So the way to do that, um, you want to go ahead and go to the ribbon and look for the date and time in the header footer section and just click on that. And so it's the second option. And we want to deselect include time. To be able to see the addition, you can either um, move your horizontal scroll bar in the middle or just close the property box. But I'm keeping it open because I need to, for part G, I need to adjust the width and left property. So, but, so I'm going to click on the auto date and you know you selected the right um, selection, but when it says auto date here. So let's go to the width. Right now it's at 3 inches. We only want one. One. Okay. And then in the left property, so right now I'm in height, so that's the wrong box. Now I'm in the right box. Left 4.75. And you don't have to click enter. You could have just click out. That would have auto add the quote marks. They want us for part H, they want us to change the wording of the race results label to read member race results. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Now, if you ever copy and paste, make sure you don't select empty spaces like this and then the period because really they really want you to type it in. So make sure you see. Oh yeah, I haven't done it. Here we go. There we go. And sorry, Control C. It'll be like Command C on a Mac. I'm gonna close this so I can see more of my title here. And then Control V. Yeah, be careful to enter a space between each word. Change the width of the auto header label to 2.5. Okay, so let's go back to open up the property sheet again. And then for some reason it added a 0. I'm gonna take out the 0 to minimize any errors in the SIMNet correction. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the width of the auto header to 2.5. So the width right now is 5.95, so 2.5, hit enter. And you notice the box got smaller. And it should look something like this. So right now I'm in design view, so I'm just gonna go back to layout view. And then now it does look like figure 4-151. Next, he wants us to add a button to the form for step 6. And to do that, we go to Form Layout Design, click on this rectangle, and then if you notice, there's a pop-up that says button. So I'm going to click on that, and just hover below the age group, and just click below it, and that creates a command button wizard. Okay, and then we want to go to, oh, um, I shouldn't have clicked A yet because they want us to select a command button that closest the form. So to do that, you go to Form Operations in the categories, and then in the Actions, select Close Form. Then click Next, and that completes Part A. For Part B, they want us to choose the Text Radio button. And then for Part C, we can go ahead and hit Next. And instead of Command 21, we can either type or copy. Oops, pushed. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm going to copy it. Control C and then Control V. And finish. For step 7, it's telling us to edit the form properties to limit user edits and deletions. So go back to Property Sheet, and then for the drop-down menu, select Form. Okay. And then starting with data entry, so let's scroll down. And data entry is already no, so that's fine. But allow additions needs to be no. Allow deletions needs to be no. And allow edits needs to be no. Take care of part A. We can close the property sheet. We can save the form. Let's go ahead and switch the form to form view. Here we are in form view. And it's really just wanting us to practice how to navigate the entries in form view. To do that, you go to the bottom of your access, and then if you notice those black arrows, so let me go ahead and zoom in on that. So you can either click the arrows to move through each record, or you can click here to go to the end. So let me zoom out to kind of show you what's going on. So the race ID stays the same because this is race results for the 6th race of the cycling club. It looks like there's 37 racers. If we go through it, that or actually, huh? Well, there's different race results. Yeah, there we go. But there are 37 records. Okay. We can go ahead and close the form. Now I want to create a report for step 9. We do that by starting with a blank report. So go to create, make sure nothing is selected, um, and then click blank report. So don't click on blank form, blank report, which is on the far right. Okay. Go ahead and on the field list, let's go ahead and click on show all tables. And now it shows the member and race table on the right side. But then part A is asking us to only add all the fields for the members table. So to see all the fields in the members, let me go ahead and zoom in on this. There's a plus sign next to members. Click on that, and that expands all the fields that are in the table. Zoom out, and then click and drag to the report window, and just do that one at a time. And make sure when you drag like the next field, make sure you drag it next to member ID and then let go there. That way it matches how the field should look in figure 4-152. Let's go ahead and add last name, address, city, date. So you notice when it was running out of room, it kind of auto scroll for me. So that's helpful. So, yeah, so cell phone, drag it up here. Move a little too far, but there we go. part A is done. For part 10, it wants us to add grouping into the report. So let's go ahead and do that and we want to group the report on a city field. So to do that, just click on Group Short here, and then that creates a window beneath our report. And then it has two buttons, Add a Group or Add a Short. We want to add a group, and we want to group it by city. When you should notice that on the far left, the city column has been added, and those entries are grouped by city. Okay. For part C, they just want us to close the group and short and total pane. For step 11, we need to modify the layout of the report. Select the Page Setup tab. So it's up here, the Text tab, and then click on Margins. Select Normal. Then part C is asking us to change the page layout to landscape. And notice that the light gray vertical dash line on the left of the cell pane. So let me go ahead and close the field list and then drag to the left. Too far to the left. It's this line they're referencing here. This indicates that the cell phone column does not fit on the same page as the other field. So if we print it, this cell phone would be on a separate page. We want to go ahead and adjust the column widths so that they all fit on one page. The way I would like to do this, there's more than one way to do this, is click on the column entries and then go to Report Layout Design tab, go to Property Sheet, and then type in 0.8 inch in the width, 0.8, hit enter. The first and last name is 0.9, so 9, 9. Another way to do this, without having to clicking on the columns, is selecting it from a drop down. So for part F, it's asking us to change the width of the address. So I'm going to try the drop down option. Just scroll up, go to address. And you notice it highlights the address for me anyways. So the address is actually a little bit longer. So it's 1.7. Okay, so that's part F. Part G, change the width of state and zip columns to 0.5. So let's go ahead and do the drop down option, state. 5. Too big. Yeah, 0.5. There we go. The zip code, 0.5. Okay. Change the width of the email column to 2. Address. That's it. We can go ahead and close the property sheet. And you notice it fits now in a single page. Next, it wants us to add a title to the report. So we do that by coming back to the header and footer section and clicking title. And then enter list of club members as the title text. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And Control V. Guess I need to delete that report one. There we go. For part K, it's asking us to apply the center format on the Format tab to the title. So let's go to the Format tab here. Center. For the last step, it wants us to add, not the last step, but the last part of step 11. Add page numbers to the bottom of the report. So we need to go back to Report and Layout, go to Page Numbers, and then use page N of M, which is the second radial button. Here's something I wish they bowed, is they want us to add page numbers to the bottom, like just bold bottom, but they didn't. So make sure you select the second radial button for position, bottom of the page. And then the last direction is centered alignment. So this is like 3 steps in part L. So this is So sometimes, I make this mistake is where I only read the bold letters, like here, and then ignored what happened at what the front is. And the front is actually another direction that um, I had to follow. Anyways, this looks good, right? And you notice the footer's been added at the bottom. Save the changes made to the report. So right click on the tab, save. For step 13, they want us to view the report in print view. So this is something you don't need to do really. You can skip it, or you can watch me do it, then skip it. So view the report in print preview. So go to File, Print, and then Print Preview. Okay. Adjust it to one page, which is already selected, so don't need to do that. Yeah, that's it. Goes to Print Preview. Click that red X there. Close the report. Close the database. And let's go ahead and upload and save have it submit the project for grading. Click the back to top button, upload my file. Let's submit the file. Now it's going to grade the project. Just a word of advice: if you made a mistake at the beginning of the steps, like step 2, step 4, it's going to cascade the error. Oh, okay. So let's see here. So look like I got 54%. It looks pretty bad, but it's really because I didn't call the report club members. Okay, so let's go ahead and correct that. So you notice, I guess this is a good teaching opportunity. Right now it looks like, well, this is bad, 54% or 54.55. And you're all like, what? I did all this stuff. I created a report, I add grouping, I modified the layout. But you need to expand to see the detail of the errors. So right now there's one comment, and then here they have two errors. And then for part 11, it got pretty bad. There's 7 supposedly errors. But you notice that it all says the same thing. It says database does not have a report named club members. Okay? So it's like, huh, it's really just one error that that SimNet penalized me multiple times. So I'm glad I made that mistake to kind of show you what I was trying to say earlier was if you made it like an error earlier on in the step, which I did, I guess, the error cascades, meaning it starts to penalize you over and over again. So it's actually an easy fix. So let me go ahead and fix that. So that's not report 1, right? I need to rename my report and call it um, club members. Okay, let's not make another mistake. It's one word, but it's capital C, capital M. Okay, go ahead and close that. Let's go ahead and resubmit that. Earn the result. This is always like nerve-wracking. It's like American Idol, right? Where Ryan Seacrest takes forever to announce who the winner is or who's getting voted off. Yes, that's it. That one fix gave me 100%. So um, so hopefully this mistake that I made help you kind of understand how to address your mistakes. And in a way, don't feel overwhelmed when you get a low score. It's like um, it's not that bad. More often than not, it's just one simple fix, and then magically I went from an F to an A. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you did well and make the same mistakes I did, and watch the whole video before you submit your assignment. All right, good luck, and stay tuned for our last project. Thank you.